Alright guys, welcome to my channel today. Today we're going to talk about ghost pedaling and how to get rid of it. So there's two ways to get rid of it. One is to change the freewheel or to change the cassette on it. So this cassette is a 9-speed, this is a 7-speed. We're going to actually change this today, and we're going to put this larger crank onto the bike. So this is a really large one. This is going on to another bike. Because I'm putting a larger crank on, I am actually, the XPeak is the one that's getting it. So this electric crank is gonna go right with it. It's gonna look the same, but it's a bigger one. So all I'm doing on that, because it does have an 11 tooth on that bike too, is I am changing it to the bigger gear on it so that the gearing on it will be lower in case I get into trouble or I'm trying to get up a hill on a rail trail or something like that, so that I still have that low gear. This will compensate for the fact that I put the bigger crank on it, but the bigger crank and the smaller gear on the back will give me some speed. So that's what I'm looking for out of that, because I want to stop ghost pedaling. That one ghost pedals at about 25 miles an hour. The other bike that I've got, I'm putting the same thing on it, and I'm not putting a crank on it, I'm just changing this out. The one that's on the bike has a 14 for smaller tooth, so that thing is ghost pedaling at 20 miles an hour. And again, I'm putting that large gear on it because it never hurts to have that large gear. Who uses first gear for the most part anyways? I'm usually, if I'm downshifting, I'll downshift into second, use that to take off or whatever. I'm hardly ever in first gear unless I'm trying to go up a hill or something like that. So that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna grab that XPeak and we're going to start working on it. So hold on. All right guys, what we're gonna do here is change this crank. This thing is really simple to do. I've done it before on a video. So a lot of you guys are probably going, why are you doing it again? Well, I got a sub that wanted to see it, and I told him I'd do it. I had to do it anyway, so why not? The first thing I'm doing is putting on gloves because I don't feel like having grease from the chain all over my hands. So put the gloves on, and I'm going to, first of all, you got to look at where your derailleur is in the gear that you're in. And the reason being is, if you put a big crank on this thing, you change the gear in the back. So we're putting a big gear. So first gear on that thing plus the bigger crank, it's going to pull this thing forward like this. And then it doesn't work. I mean, a lot of people, I tell them, you got to add to your chain. Oh, I didn't have to add to my chain. Yeah, you're going to get in a situation probably where your derailleur is probably going to get screwed up because you're really pulling it. So I'm going to look at this bike. I'm going to actually put it up into first gear here because I want to see where it is in first gear, because that is your chain is pulled the farthest forward in first gear. As it goes, it'll go back because fifth will just drop, seventh gear will just drop the chain right back. So we want to be at this position here, which I'm going to call that 5 o'clock. So when I'm done with this bike, I'm going to add to that chain, put that thing at 5 o'clock when it's in the hardest gear there. So that's what we're going to do, guys. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chain off and get rid of it. I'm going to put it just like that, and then we have to take this thing off. Now I'm going to ditch these gloves because now I got grease all over that, and gloves are cheap. So this tool here you get on Amazon, I've showed it to you before, and this is what it needs to take that crank off, and it's a piece of cake to do, guys. Like I said, we're going to have this thing done in probably under 5 minutes. I'm just taking the time here to show you what's going on. All right guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with an impact. I'm hoping that it comes out. If not, we'll have to take it off another way. Which is easy to do, but a lot of times like that, and that's off. So before I take this off, I am going to take the pedal off. So we're going to take this thing out, put that there, that there. Now we're going to use this thing. We're going to thread this in here, like that. You tighten it up. This is tapered, so it's going to start to come off as we tighten it, and then it'll literally just fall off, and All right. All right, guys, this is what we're doing here. So this is the new one going on. This is the old one. And if you look at the difference in sizes here, it's quite a bit bigger. So again, that's going to add to the chain. All right, guys, before I put this on, I have to do one thing because I tried dry fitting it on here and it ends up rubbing right here on the frame. So I've got to take this back plate off on this thing. And so it'll still have the guard on the front, but it won't have the guard on the back. So it's fine by me. And that way there it'll clear. So we're going to take this off now. All right, guys, I took the backing plate off of it. Got this one left on the front. That's most of them only have it on one side anyways. So it's had to put some shims on here to make it work, but it's working. So we're going to put this back on and see if I have the clearance now. And I've got the clearance, no problem. Now I use an impact taking this out, but I don't really want to put an impact on it, putting it back in. I'd rather do it by hand. That way there I can, you know, be able to tell how tight it is. Impacts kind of end up ruining all the hardware and stuff, and I don't like to do that. I tend to not use impacts if I can help it. This is the easy part, doing this. I got to pull that rear wheel off this bike now, and I'm not going to show you me doing that, but I'll show you how to change it, how to change that freewheel once we get the wheel off. Yeah, gloves I don't care about. I work at a body shop. I get these free, so we buy them by the case. The only time we had a hard time getting gloves and respirators was during COVID, guys. I tried to, I had some N95s that we use at work, and I was going to order some more and give them to the fire department and the police department. And when I called, they said, yeah, we're all out. So that didn't work. All right, guys, so this thing now is, it's still at about 5 o'clock, maybe 4:30 now. So we're going to take this bike down now. So the crank's done. That's how you do the crank. Easy peasy, guys. See this? Not working well. And that's because this thing's pulled too far forward, like I said. See, now that I brought it down a couple of gears, put it in 3rd gear, 4th gear, and nice and easy. So that's the difference. When this thing's at the proper place and when it gets pulled forward, it didn't want to work. So that's definitely something that we need to address by putting on a larger, chain section of this when we get it done. So again, like I said, most people, oh, no, I didn't have to change the chain. Yeah, you probably have to add to your chain, you just don't know it. So that just proved it, like I said. We'll get that rear tire off and we're gonna get this freewheel changed out on this thing. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm gonna pull the rear wheel off and then I'm just gonna put the wheel in my cart and we're gonna change that freewheel, and that's what I'm gonna show you. All right, guys, I got the tire off the bike and now I'm gonna show you how to change out this freewheel on this thing. We've got the other freewheel right here that's going on it. And like I said, the only reason why we're doing this is to get this larger gear on there, and it's quite a bit bigger than what's already on there. So to get these things off, you need this tool here. This is a freewheel tool. There's a different one available for the cassette, and if I'll do the cassette, I'll show you how to do that. But this thing goes on like this. You need a good size wrench or adjustable, and put it on, and that's how easy that is. All right, so I'm going to show you the difference in these here. So you can see this, quite a big difference, but all that difference is, all the other gears are the same except for that big, tall gear, guys. So everything's the same except for that big, tall gear, and that's what I wanted, was that big, tall gear on there. So we're going to take this thing here, put it back in. There's nothing else you got to do to this thing. You got to thread it on there. Again, use this tool. There's nothing wrong with this, so I will package it back up. The unfortunate thing is, I got a whole bunch of these things because I keep changing them out to these ones. So these are my favorite, and I'll throw a link into the, I'm going to put it, I hate putting links. I'm getting yelled at by Richard because I don't put links in there. I just tell you guys that to ask me in the comments and I'll tell you what it is. But I'm going to pin the parts of this in the comments. So look in the comments, I'll pin them in there. They'll be right at the top. And that's what I'm gonna do. It's easier than, people just don't know how to get in there. So you don't have to tighten this thing like crazy. I've seen people put wrenches on it like no tomorrow. This thing's all set and ready to go back on a bike now. So that's it. So I'll put it on a bike and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the chain on that thing, because we're going to have to definitely add it, because when it goes up under that big gear, you're going to need that. So it's got the wheel back on this thing and the chain's all on it and everything, but I got to lengthen that chain. The problem is I can't lengthen the chain tonight because I don't have master links. The master links are supposed to be here today from Amazon, but they're not here, and I'm being told now it's going to be tomorrow. So it is Easter, so maybe the drivers took the day off, but I did get some other stuff from Amazon, so who knows? Maybe it's where I got it from. They took a long weekend or whatever. But I've got to lengthen the chain on this thing. I want you to see where this position is right now. This thing started out at the 5 o'clock position, and now we're at about 3:15. So like I said, guys, I know it functions, it goes around and everything, it'll pedal, but you're going to end up with trouble because you're really stretching this thing in, in the wrong direction here, and it's not meant to do that. So we want to get this thing back. So it's up on the tallest gear here. So I'm not going to try to set this tall gear for the 5 o'clock that we started at. I'm going to try to set it for 4 o'clock. Then the rest of the gears should follow in just the way they should. I'm never going to be in this top gear unless I need to pedal home or I'm going up a hill. So that's what I'm going to do to this. So I'm going to show you what we would normally do. These are chain pliers, and this is a chain tool that pushes out. So this thing goes on here like this, and you spin this thing and it pushes the length out. You have to do that to both sides on it, clean it out. Then you can add chain to it however much you want, and you'll put a master link in and another master link in with that piece of chain, and you're good to go, guys. So that's it. I hope you guys learned something, and this is, we do this stuff all the time, trying to teach people. Again, anything down the road, you guys got a question or whatever, I'll do it. Like I said, I've already done this before, but this one of my subs, Doug, this is for you. So I hope you, figured out what you got to do to your bike if you're going to do it. So we changed the crank on it. We also changed, Doug, check your cassette, or I think it might be a cassette because yours is an advent. It might be a cassette on that, but I'm not sure. But count the cogs on this thing and see if it's an 11 or see if it's higher. If it's not an 11, by changing that, you're going to gain some on that too. So I don't know what you're looking to get, but we did it. And, again, guys, like I said, any questions about anything else, we'll do something like this in the future. And just to show you guys, my subs are going up. It's been fantastic lately. They've been going up really fast. You guys have been doing a lot of watching. Thank you very much, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you.